All right. So we are going to start in a nice long child's pose. And I'm going to leave it up to you whether you want, and I'm going to just keep my fuzzy socks on because it's a little chilly in the house. Whether you want to go knees wide or knees together, arms forward or arms back, and get ourselves settled onto your mat. Take a couple little wiggles, just make sure that everything is in its nice place so you're able to stay here for a couple minutes, letting the shoulders relax, elbows relax. Feel the firm connection of your head against the floor. You might add a gentle rock of the head side to side, just massaging that space between your eyebrows. And once you're getting settled into the floor, let's take 3 cleansing breaths here. Big inhale through your nose. Exhale out the mouth. Again, big breath in. Let that breath go. Inhale, fill up, feel the back body puff. Seal the lips, exhale out the nose. And we'll start to establish your breath here. Feeling the gentle rise and fall of the back body. If we've got the knees wide, let the belly hang freely between the thighs. And just notice where the usual tight spots are. If you're clenching your teeth, you tend to kind of tighten the jaw. You might open the mouth a few times, move your jaw a little side to side. And start to settle into the rhythm of the breath. Just feeling that ebb and flow. The coming, the going, the gathering in, and then the releasing out. If you have a mind that continues to run and race on you, see if you can really just bring your attention to the physical sensations you're experiencing. Feeling where that expansion and contraction of the breath is in the body. Feeling how hard or soft the floor is underneath you. And while there's something very finite about a calendar year ending, this is just one more little blip in the ebb and flow of life. One of my teachers, Jen Wooten, talks a lot about it as kind of the life falling apart and then coming back together. And we sometimes think of our lives as being a little more linear. Right? We have goals and resolutions that we set for the new year. We have things that we feel like we need to accomplish, and all we do is laser focus on that one thing and think, well, just walk straight to that point. Unfortunately, life is not that simple. It's not as much of a straight line. There's a lot of meandering, there's a lot of setbacks. But when we can ride the ebb and flow, when we can ride the falling apart and the coming back together, that's what helps keep us very present in what's happening right now. To help us learn also how to ride those waves. And when we learn to surf more or less in this metaphor, when you can surf, you learn to balance. You learn to wobble, you learn how to find your center again, how to come back to being grounded. So whether you are feeling like things are on the path of coming together, or the things are starting to fall apart and unravel, be okay with wherever that journey is. Spend a few more breaths here. 2 more deep breaths in. Keeping the eyes soft, let's start to rise up onto hands and knees. Feel your way around your mat, feeling the shoulders starting to stack over your wrists and the knees coming underneath your hips. We'll drop the belly down, inhale, lengthen the front line of the body coming into your cow pose. As you exhale, round into cat, and then we're gonna sink the hips about halfway back toward the heels. And that's gonna give you a little bit more sensation in the middle of the back. Inhale, you'll slide the heart forward and through. Exhale, pushing the ground away, rounding and then sitting back into the hips just a little bit. And we'll continue to move between these two variations, letting your breath guide you, letting the sensations that you feel in the body tell you how far you need to move or whether you want to add a little extra or if you need to linger. We'll take about 2 more rounds here. And we'll come back to a neutral spine. We're going to bring your left forearm parallel to the front of your mat. Crawl your right fingers forward. Let your head rest onto your forearm. Hips will stay high over the knees, and you can kind of play with right fingers crawling forward, right hip dragging back. You're going to feel some stretch and sensation through that right shoulder, through the armpit, into the back. Stay here for 3 breaths. Keeping your right arm reaching forward, go ahead and slide this left arm all the way through until you can come onto your left shoulder and your left ear is pointing down to the mat. So you're threading the needle here. And then from here, you can kind of play with what's happening with this right hand and continue to crawl forward. If you need a little bit more opening of the right side chest, you can wrap it behind, or you could use your right hand to press your left hand away. We'll stay for 2 more breaths here. And then we'll come back onto hands and knees. Take a couple rounds of cat-cow from here. Following the inhale, pressing into the exhale. If you like that sensation of rocking the hips back, you're welcome to add that. And then back to a neutral spine. We're going to bring the right forearm down parallel to the front of the mat. Let the head release to the forearm. Left fingers are going to crawl forward. Keep the hips high over your knees. And by having the head on the forearm, you can kind of put some weight downward, allowing the armpit, left armpit to flare open toward the floor. You're going to feel a little extra stretch that way through the shoulder. Keep breathing into that length of the left side body. We're here for 3 more. And I'm going to slide this right arm underneath the left armpit, all the way through to your right ear, your right shoulder, reaching toward the floor. Again, you have those options with the left arm, reaching, wrapping, or pushing the hand away. Two more deep breaths here. And then we'll come back up onto hands and knees and take a few rounds of cat-cow. Feeling things out through the spine, through the shoulders, through the hips. Coming back to a neutral spine, we're going to step your right foot toward the outside of your right hand. If you need to pick up your foot and move it physically, feel free to do that. Or if you're able to walk that right foot forward and bring that left knee back just a little bit. Hands will stay on the floor for now. What I want you to feel for is a leveling of the hips so you don't have one side sinking down more than the other. Reach your heart forward. And then lengthen the back of the neck. So you shouldn't be craning your head up and you shouldn't be tucking your head down. So I'm going to keep it fairly neutral here. Just starting to feel sensation through the hips. You can always adjust this, making it deeper if your body needs more, or you can back it off if your body needs less. If your right hip is starting to ask for a little more and staying on the hands isn't enough sensation, you could bring forearms onto a block or onto a blanket or toward the floor. And trying to keep the hips level and the back of the neck relaxed and long. One more breath here. We'll come back onto the hands. If you have lower, you're going to wiggle this right foot back, coming back onto the knees. If you need some stretch through that right hip, you're welcome to take that right leg back, wobble through the heel, or you might take your knee into some circles. When you're ready for the other side, let's start to bring the left foot forward. Adjust for how much distance you need between your front foot and your back knee. Level out the hips here. And again, you can kind of play with how much forward rocking of the hips. Lengthen out the back of the neck. Soften the face. Notice sensation here. If your body's asking for more, you could play with lowering. Last breath in. Gently come back up, sending your left knee back behind you. Take some movement through that left hip. And then we'll bring the knees together, heels together, and we're going to sit back onto the heels. Kneeling posture here. We'll relax the hands, turn the palms up, bring those shoulders back behind you. Just let everything neutralize in the hips, long through the spine. See if you can slow the breath down, making the inhale and the exhale just a little bit longer. And we'll take one more full breath here. And then you can lean the hips to one side, bring the feet forward. So let's find a cross-legged seat of your choice. All right, we're gonna open the arms all the way out to the sides. You're gonna turn your thumbs, pointing back behind you, palms are up. And we're gonna take a really big stretch here across the chest, trying to take those thumbs as far back as you can. Now the key here is trying not to blow the ribs open. So I'm not making this into a back bend. I'm gonna keep this pretty isolated. Trying to squeeze those shoulder blades together, take those thumbs back behind. Continue to sit tall. Take one more breath here. Good. Let's eagle the arms. We're gonna take the right elbow underneath the left, wrapping either to opposite elbows or wrapping up to the hands. Push your elbows forward and lift them up. Relax the shoulder blades down. One more breath here. And we're going to take the arms all the way out again, turning the palms up, thumbs go back behind, squeezing shoulder blades back. A few more breaths in. One more inhale. Okay, we're going to eagle the arms again, this time left elbow underneath the right, wrapping either to opposite shoulders or wrapping up toward the hands. Find some space here, get those elbows away from the chest. One more inhale. And release the arms, we'll relax down for a moment. Then you're gonna take your right arm up. You're gonna bend the elbow, fingers are gonna find your left ear. Start to take your right ear towards your right shoulder, letting the weight of the head guide the movement. And then if you want, you might take this left arm back out to the side, trying to draw that left thumb back. And feeling for these two opposing actions, head dropping in one direction, left arm reaching in the opposite. And we're going to add a stretch in the front of the neck. So bring your left fingers to your collarbone. Go just underneath the bone. You're going to push in toward the chest wall and then drag the tissue down. And once you have your left hand in place, you can kind of play with tilting of the head, rocking of the head. You should feel a little bit of stretch on the front left side. Okay, get this one more breath in. Release the hands, bring the head back through center. We're going to let everything neutralize here. You're going to feel some maybe tingling sensations, something kind of lingering on that left side. And then we'll set up on the other side. So you're going to take your left arm up, bend at the elbow. Fingers are going to find your right ear. And drop your left ear toward the left side. I can already feel this is the side of the neck that did not like how I slept on my pillow. And then if you want, you can take that right arm out to the side, thumb pointing back behind you. Just starting to ease open on the right side of the chest, right side of the neck. The shoulders relaxed and away from the ears. And if you want that stretch in the front of the neck, right fingers are going to find your right collarbone, just underneath it, pushing in toward the chest wall and dragging down and away. Maybe adding a little extra movement here. Last breath in. And then release the hands. We'll bring everything back through center. Feel the alignment of the spine and any lingering sensations. And we're going to start to work our way down toward the floor. Go ahead and roll down onto your back. We'll bring the knees into the chest. I just realized my sock look is not very attractive. All right, knees into the chest. Take a gentle rock side to side, low back settling into the floor. And then keeping your right knee squeezed in, let's lengthen your left leg long, all the way down to the floor if that feels okay. If it's not okay, grab your blanket or cushion or something that you can prop underneath your left foot. If you want bigger sensation in the hips through this pose, you could roll up a blanket and add it underneath your hips. A block works as well. So tight squeeze of the right knee in, left leg reaching long. And then release your hands. Take your right leg up to the sky. Lace the hands behind the thigh. If you have a strap nearby, this maybe is a good spot to add a strap, maybe around the foot. We're not adding a huge hamstring stretch here. We're really trying to get just some length in the back of the leg and holding this right leg in place. Back of the pelvis, even left and right against the floor or against your blanket. One more breath in. We'll release this right leg down. And let's throw the left knee in. Tight squeeze of the left knee, right leg extended, supported under with a prop or on the floor. One more breath here. And extend your left leg up. Place the hands behind the left thigh or use a strap to hold the leg in place. Last breath here. Release the left leg. Let's draw both knees back into the chest. Take your knees for some circles. Just massaging the low back. And then we'll extend both legs long. You're going to keep the hips on the ground, shoulders on the ground. You're going to start to walk your feet over to the right edge of your mat. Hook one ankle over the other if that feels okay, or starting to open the left side body. If you want a little more here, take that left arm up. Right hand's going to stay next to your right thigh. And then you're going to reach that left arm up and over to the right, and your right hand will slide a little lower down the right side of your leg. Make sure the shoulders, back of the pelvis both stay on the floor. You aren't rolling all the way over to your right side. Instead, we're lengthening the left side body. One more inhale here. And we'll bring that left arm back in. Then cross the ankles, bring everything back to center. Take a full body stretch here. Toes all the way to the fingers. You can lace the fingers, take the palms back. And then we'll start to set up for our side bend on the other side. So walking heels over to the left edge of your mat. You can cross one ankle over the other. Right arm's going to reach up and over toward the left. Left hand can slide down the length of the thigh. So we don't want to feel any crunch on the left side of the body. So try to keep that side long as well. We're just making the right side a little bit longer than the left. Last breath here. Bring everything back through center. Take a full body stretch. And we'll draw the knees back in. A little bit of a rock here. And we're going to set the feet on the floor. You're going to cross your right knee all the way over the left. We're going to bring the legs closer into the body. You can either hold on to the front of the knees, or you might hold on to the shins, or you might come all the way toward the feet. Where's my foot today? Feeling tight today. So the feet are going to be sticking out to the sides, and you're going to feel pretty good stretch on that outer right hip. If any of this is too intense, you're welcome to bring the feet closer to the floor, knees a little farther away from the chest. And then we'll gently release. Take this into a happy baby, or just knees wide to outsides of the ribs. From that happy baby, you might extend one leg and then the other. And then we'll set up on the other side. Crossing left knee over the right, drawing the legs closer into the body. Grabbing anywhere along the opposite leg, knee, shin, ankle, feet. The more intense it is by bringing the knees closer in toward the chest, feet out. Less intense, give yourself a little more space. And bringing the feet closer to the floor. One more deep breath in. Again, we'll release, coming back to happy baby, your knees wide. Taking some movement here. And then we're going to bring the arms out to a T, or you can cactus them. We're going to shift hips over to the right. And you're going to drop your knees over to the left. And depending on how much of a stretch you need through the chest, you can turn your head in one direction or the other. And we'll soften the belly. Notice as your thoughts or sensations bubble up to the surface here and then start to ebb away. And we'll continue to soften into sensation, allowing for the body to just take the shape. Gravity will take over from there. Your breath will do some of the work. And then giving these poses the patience of time. One more breath here. And we'll gently bring the legs back to center, reset the hips. Set your feet on the floor for a moment. We're gonna take a bear hug. Wrapping the arms, doesn't matter which elbow's on top, reaching for your shoulder blades behind you. Taking a little bit of a rock side to side. And then we'll set up the arms back in our cactus shape if you like that for the shoulders. Knees will come in and drop over to the right. Hips might shift to the left a little. Play with head positioning, turning the head toward or away from the knees. And figure out which is the best option. One more breath here. We'll bring everything back to center. Reset the hips. We're going to take that bear hug again. We're going to cross the opposite elbow on top, reaching back for those shoulder blades. Take a gentle rock side to side. All right, let's start to set up for Shavasana. Grab all of your cozy items. If you have a weighted blanket, I find that to be very nice for Shavasana. You want to add a little weight on top of the body. I'm going to turn down the lights, add an eye covering. Whatever feels best for you here. If you're allowing the arms to stay long next to you, turn the palms up and move the hands away from the body a few inches. If you're keeping the legs long, let your feet flop open. Move your legs apart about as wide as your mat. We may add a little bit of a rock of the head, side to side, just releasing anything else that might be stuck in the back of the neck. Soften the jaw, close the eyes. Let's take 3 breaths here. Full inhale through your nose. Exhale out the mouth. Do that again. Breath in. Release. Last one. Big breath here. And then let everything go. Allow your breath to return to normal, feeling the natural rise of your chest and your belly. Embrace the full weight of your body and release it down into the floor, knowing that the floor is strong enough to hold anything that you can give it. When we've all experienced something collective, it instantly bonds us to our community, to our friends, to our family. And this bond is what keeps us grounded because it shows that all of our relationships are interconnected, that what we do affects other people. And while a lot of that this year was in regards to the virus, it can also relate to compassion. We can talk about how we care for each other, how we listen to each other, how our actions and how we treat others has a direct effect. And from that person who's affected, they are then influenced into how they choose to treat others. And so, this yogic practice that we do is so much of an individual practice. It starts with the individual. We have to be able to sort ourselves out. We have to be able to deal with the ups and downs, learn how to cope with them, how to manage them, how to progress within them. But at the same time, we don't live in our own individual bubbles. We are still in society together. So know that every breath that you take, every deliberate decision that you make during your yoga practice will carry off of your mat, carries into the rest of your day, into the other people that you interact with. And it has long lasting effects, whether we notice them immediately or not. So as you come into this final rest, give yourself permission to be here completely and to know that what you're doing here is still very important work. And gently begin to deepen the breath. Wake up your fingers and your toes, your wrists and your ankles. Take a full body stretch, yawn, move your jaw around. We'll draw the knees into the chest. Roll over to the right, coming into a fetal position. Give yourself a few breaths on your side. Using the support of your hands, press your way up to a comfortable seat. We'll keep the eyes closed. Bring the palms to touch at heart center. Sit up tall here, feeling the crown of the head lifting toward the ceiling, the shoulders dropping away from the ears. Feel your seat rooting down into the ground, giving a nice firm foundation to work with as you continue to feel your breath move, falling apart and the coming together. Let's seal our practice here with one collective Om. First, we'll take a full breath in through your nose. Exhale out the mouth. Inhale the chant. Om. Namaste. Realize that my COVID hair is getting so long and heavy. Every time that I move my head, my hair flops around.